Never in all my years of playing this game have I seen so many vile comments, so many angry people, like for just cross map sniping them, pairing the air. Cool camping strat noob. That's pretty tame though. It's gotten pretty bad where people are like, oh, you should hang yourself. Hopefully you can do a nice backflip. Okay. Why are people in DBD so angry all the time? You know, you should sign your death certificate a little bit earlier, buddy. All for a video game. And in all my history of playing and covering this, like, it's evolved from like, people just kind of disconnecting when they don't like it, and then they add the DC penalty, and then there's a little bit of anger, a little bit of back and forth. DBD's always been known for its toxicity.
You dude hope you get cancer and die and burn in hell.
But never in all my years have I witnessed such a lack of humanity, a lack of compassion or empathy for another side. It's almost like politics. The survivors, they hate the killers, and the killers hate the survivors. It's always been this ongoing war. If something gets buffed to the killers, the survivors complain. When something gets buffed to survivors, the killers complain. Back and forth, vice versa. But now it feels like it's gotten more visceral, more savage. There's no fear. There's just people going at each other with their ferocity. And personally, when I read stuff like this, it doesn't necessarily faze me, but it's shocking. The reactions of certain people. Like, here, speak of the devil. This community is just so negative in their vibes. All right, you see that? Look at that. You can make a conclusion that, well, maybe these people are having a rough day. Maybe life is really stressful, life is really hard, and it's hard to cope with their emotions. So what people like to do is they like to express their frustration with life, express their pain through the medium of a video game. But that's when we need to draw the line. Using video games as a medium to express frustration, anger, stress is a healthy way to convert that energy into something that is less damaging. But when it comes to telling people to off themselves, for other people to hurt themselves, it starts to become increasingly more and more inhumane. And when people complain about this game, I see them complaining about the game developers' behavior. Oh, they don't know what they're doing. They're implementing these terrible palette changes, killer changes, perk changes, game modes. They don't know how to develop their game. But if I'm being honest with you, I think the majority of the problems don't necessarily lie more in the game developers per se than the community itself, the toxicity of this community. Back in the day, when people were frustrated at this game, when people were angry at the game developers, Makot would just say,
another question, playing killers was fun a long time ago, but now it's only stressful. I used to love playing as a killer, win or lose, it was fun, but currently no matter what, it's just filled with stress and anger. Killers aren't feared anymore. Do you have any plans or ideas how you would like to improve the killer experience? Well, I would say maybe try Survivor for a bit. No, but it's true. I mean, change it up. Maybe you're just tired, you know, or play something else for a week. Try Civilization or something, just for a refreshing change.
Oh, maybe you should just play a different game. Play some Civ 5. Relax. If killer's stressful, play a little bit of Survivor. That's a good way to vent out your anger, and to calm down. But now the attitude of behavior has changed ever so slightly.
So the first question people might ask is, why are we doing these things? Why are we looking at these strategies that people employ to play the game? It's quite simple. Face camping, tunneling, and slugging were in the top 5 reasons for people uninstalling the game. And you know, we as developers and myself as a player, we want the game to last long. So to make sure that that happens and that the game can keep going as long as it can, we have to address the issues that people have, or the players have within the game. So face camping, slugging, and tunneling are 3 of the issues that we have to address.
They're more worried about player retention, player happiness, which on paper sounds like a good thing, but that has resulted in a couple PTBs where they want to be nuclear with tunneling, camping, and slugging. And a lot of people can most certainly agree that a lot of these changes that were suggested were not quite as healthy when first initially revealed. It actually feels like that behavior might be increasingly trying to people please, make a lot of angry people happy. And it almost feels like that behavior's scared of their community. So when I hear a lot of community members complaining about how bad behavior is with their design decisions, how tone deaf or blind they are, I almost wonder if the root of those specific problems are not necessarily 100% the game developers themselves, but in the mere fact of them being scared of the community. Feel like they want to make their community happy, but the community is so gosh darn toxic, so gosh darn terrifying, so gosh darn unforgiving to the point where they review bomb the game because of specific PTBs, patches, or updates, that they feel like they're kind of forced in a corner. Behavior wants to try to implement something new, try something innovative, try something unique, try to do something that will make the community happy. But they experiment with that, and then they get burned. The community bites back at them. And then let's try experiment again. And then the community gets angry. Oh, they don't know what they're doing. And then they get burned again. It's almost like this vicious cycle problem. It's like, okay. Like an abusive relationship where behavior is the victim and the community is the abuser. And every single time the victim does something to make the abuser happy, the abuser just hits them. The abuser just goes off on them. And he's like, okay, I'm not going to do that again. And then he's like, okay, we're going to try to make the community happy again. And then the community's like, you suck. I hate you. You have no idea what you're doing. And then the developer's like, okay. All right, but let's just try to find ways to make them happy. Let's just try to find ways to make them happy. But the abuser can never be happy because it's never enough. Just over time, I've been seeing this increase of savagery, ferociousness that is unwarranted for certain design decisions that are just kind of mere experiments, innovations to try to make their community happy. And I believe that a lot of the problems, a lot of the root causes behind particular issues the developers are going through, particular problems, are rooted in the fact that a lot of the members of the DBD community are just too toxic for their own good. And the thing is they're not even the majority. It is a minority of very loud, toxic, vindictive players, which because they're loud, make them seem like they are bigger than they actually are. And therein, it propagates this victim-abuser relationship between the community and its game developers. A certain sort of people which lack a sense of humanity, a soul, compassion, empathy. For you see, all the game developers want to do is to try to make their community happy. And you can say that they're greedy, you can criticize their decisions, but at the end of the day, they are a company who has employees. And they need to feed their families as well, too. So it's okay to criticize. It is okay to point out things that could be improved or things that they could change that you see that they're doing wrong. But I think it's not okay to senselessly bash, act unhumanely to your neighbor. A lot of the community should act more towards the side of compassion and love, of understanding why the developers are doing what they're doing. You shouldn't have to feel like you need to abuse them, have to hurt them just to get what you want. Give them feedback. Tell them what's wrong. Be cordial. Be loving. Be polite. And in essence, what I believe a large problem related to Dead by Daylight itself is less so its game developers and more so the community which inhabits it. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. It was a little bit of a talk video. Haven't done one of these in a long time. And I believe this is a very important problem to point out. A lot of you guys should act more loving to each other, have some compassion and empathy to your fellow gamers and game developers.